listen, with a guy like him, man, you gotta understand he's iconic in my mind,
Prince straight up spilled the tea about the shady side of Hollywood in one of his interviews back in the day. And now, we're seeing the fallout from some sketchy stuff going on in the entertainment biz. Prince's revelations about Hollywood took a darker turn when he sadly passed away in an elevator. The circumstances surrounding his death in that elevator were especially eerie, as noted by Dave Chappelle. According to Chappelle, Prince was always upfront and expressed his views boldly, making him difficult to control. Looking at it from the outside, it appears that someone hard to rein in was taken out of the picture.
That he paid that kind of attention. And I think about that when I engage people, how these moments are just moments, but they mean so much.
The comedian memorably explained on Friday to Tonight Show host Jimmy Fallon what it's like being featured on the cover of Prince's September 2013 single Breakfast Can Wait. That's a Prince judo move right there. You make fun of Prince in a sketch and he'll just use you in his album cover, the comedian quipped. What am I gonna do? Sue him for using a picture of me dressed up like him. That's checkmate right there. When Dave Chappelle was facing a huge life change in 2006, it was the wise words of his friend Prince that convinced the comedian he wasn't crazy. The comic had decided to quit Chappelle's show after 2 complete seasons, reporting that its success was ruining his life and causing him stress. The conditions under which he left the production, which struggled on without him for several episodes, left his future career in doubt. But he felt he had no choice.
I haven't played New York maybe in like over a decade. Definitely since I quit that, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
All that stuff happened. I don't go out much.
Yeah.
In one of his interviews featured in the liner notes of the Sign of the Times box set, Dave Chappelle shared a profound connection with Prince during a pivotal moment in his life. Reflecting on his departure from Chappelle's show, Chappelle revealed that Prince was not only someone he could relate to, but also one of the few individuals genuinely concerned about his life. Chappelle, invoking one of his own sayings, expressed, "The last sane man on earth is going to think he's crazy," emphasizing that Prince had already navigated similar challenges. Prince became a source of solace for Chappelle, a reminder that he wasn't alone in his experiences. Chappelle stated, "Prince was the only one I knew who had already done it. In the loneliest corners of that experience, there was always a sign that he had been there and lived to tell about it." Prince's unwavering support and lack of judgment left a lasting impact on Chappelle. He recalled how Prince never questioned his choices but simply affirmed, "Whatever it is, you're right." Prince helped Chappelle understand that there might be another side to his journey, and regardless of the outcome, he was free. In Prince's words, "You gotta be free." Chappelle also reminisced about the first time he heard Prince's single Sign of the Times on a radio show hosted by Casey Kasem. Struck by Kasem reading the lyrics before playing the record, Chappelle was deeply impressed, noting the profound nature of the words and highlighting the rarity of a DJ reading lyrics on a top 40 countdown. Dave has spoken out about his relationship with the star and how he was the only person he could relate to following the comic's exit from the show at the peak of its popularity. "When I left Chappelle's show, not only was Prince the only person I could relate to, he was one of the few people who truly cared about what was happening in my life. He was the only one I knew who had already done it. The mere sight of Prince reminded me that I'm not the last sane man on earth and I'm not crazy." The sketch titled Charlie Murphy's True Hollywood Stories Prince originally premiered on February 18, 2004. In the sketch, Dave Chappelle portrayed the music icon Prince, while Charlie Murphy shared memories of their actual wild basketball game in the mid-'80s. In the skit, Donald Rawlings played Murphy's friend. Rawlings recalls that Dave Chappelle had initially wanted Prince to be part of the sketch. When Chappelle approached Prince about it, the musician responded with his characteristic brevity, saying, "Yeah, nah." Rawlings chuckles as he recounts, "That's true to Prince's fashion with dialogue. You'll probably never hear of Prince talking more than 3 sentences." Rawlings emphasizes that the sketch became so widely recognized and beloved that people occasionally confused Chappelle with the real Prince. Prince boldly unveiled the true nature of Hollywood and its dark side in one of his interviews while he was still alive. Now, we can see the fallout from Hollywood's disturbing actions.
911 service and cell service has gone down in parts of that island. Officials describe a dire situation as hospitals are overwhelmed with patients suffering burns and smoke injuries.
No doubt about it, Prince stands out as one of the all-time greats in music history, with a phenomenal career lasting more than 4 decades. His legendary status is underlined by an incredible remarkable accomplishment, selling over 100 million records worldwide, a milestone only a handful have reached. Prince's influence knows no bounds globally, and though he's mainly celebrated for his music, he also delved into the realm of film.
Blue animals strike curious poses.
Prince's artistic versatility wasn't confined to just his music. It extended to his image, where he transformed into a sex symbol by embracing an androgynous toying with gender norms, and breaking free from racial stereotypes. His bands frequently included powerful female members, showcasing his consistent support for women in the music industry throughout his career. Yet, his advocacy for women's empowerment also stirred up rumors and speculations, eventually becoming a catalyst for his growing discontent with the industry.
Don't be fooled by the internet. It's cool. It's cool to get on.
In the music realm, Prince, who left us at 57, was a true trailblazer and sometimes a controversial champion for artist rights. In the 1990s, he openly clashed with the music industry, making bold statements like inscribing "slave" on his cheek and adopting an unpronounceable glyph as his name, all to voice his frustration with the major label system. He bluntly stated, "Record contracts are just like, I'm gonna say the word, slavery. I would tell any young artist, don't sign." Furthermore, in a 1996 interview with the Los Angeles Times, Prince expressed such a strong distaste for the music business that he admitted he wished he had pursued a different career altogether, declaring, "If I knew the things I know now before, I wouldn't be in the music industry." If Prince were an up-and-coming artist in 2022, he would probably thrive in the present music scene. Today, artists enjoy more autonomy and aren't as dependent on major labels to steer their careers. Prince, with his musical innovation and entrepreneurial flair, showed that artists could be both creative powerhouses and shrewd business minds. He challenged the idea that crucial decisions should be solely dictated by corporate executives, highlighting the potential for artists to take charge of their own destinies.
There's a war going on. The battlefield's in the mind. And the prize is the soul.
In April 2016, the internet was abuzz with the idea that Prince had foreseen his own death, sparking sensational headlines and likely playing a role in a notable increase in Prince album sales. Nevertheless, the question of whether he truly predicted his fate remains open to interpretation. One perspective argues that recognizing one's mortality, as conveyed in his lyrics, could be seen as a form of prophecy. Furthermore, according to E.T., Louisiana Reed also revealed that Prince shared a strong aversion to elevators. Prince believed that elevators had a sinister nature, often labeling them as instruments of the devil. This unique perspective on elevators was captured in Prince's 1984 song, "Let's Go Crazy." In the lyrics, he portrayed elevators as malevolent forces that could try to bring someone down. Prince sang about the challenge of rising above by pressing a higher floor button, symbolizing his resistance against the negative influence he linked with elevators. He expressed in the lyrics, "And if the elevator tries to bring you down, go crazy, punch a higher floor. If you don't like the world you're living in, take a look around you. At least you got friends. You see, I called my old lady. For a friendly word, she picked up the phone, dropped it on the floor. Is all I heard. Are we gonna let the elevator bring us down? Oh no, let's go." Reed shared a conversation he had with Prince about the artist's unusual feelings toward elevators, a topic that made Reed uneasy due to its association with the devil. This discomfort stemmed from Prince explaining that, in his view, the elevator symbolized the devil. The news of Prince's lifeless discovery in an elevator on the first floor of Paisley Park, his residence and studio, deeply disturbed Reed, given the context of their prior discussion. Reed recalled, "One time when I was with him privately, he said, 'You know what the elevator is, right?' I said, 'No. What's the elevator?' He said, 'Well, the elevator is the devil.' It scared me. I don't like to talk like that, but he said that. So for me, it was like really haunting when I read that he was found in an elevator, which was what triggered the public because they think it might connect to him being outspoken against the industry." Prince undeniably stands as one of the most influential musicians in history, with a remarkable career that extended across more than 4 decades. His legendary status within the music industry is underscored by the extraordinary achievement of selling over 100 million records worldwide, a distinction attained by only a select few. Prince's global influence is immeasurable, and although he is primarily celebrated for his music, he also made forays into the realm of film.
Blue animals strike curious poses.
Prince's versatility as an artist extended beyond his music and encompassed his image, where he attained the status of a S symbol by embracing an androgynous sexuality, challenging traditional gender norms, and breaking free from racial stereotypes. His bands frequently included talented female members, and he consistently championed women within the music industry throughout his illustrious career. However, his dedication to women's empowerment also generated a range of rumors and speculations, ultimately contributing to his growing disillusionment with the industry.
Don't be fooled by the internet. It's cool to get on the...
When we think of Prince, our minds paint a picture of a versatile genius, a maestro in composing, producing, mastering various musical instruments, and possessing dance skills that outshone even his backing performers. Placing Prince at the forefront of our thoughts, we undeniably link him with evident through his overtly provocative style. His music becomes synonymous with intimate, bedroom-friendly melodies, and we perceive the man, in his own renowned words, as an individual of immense allure and magnetism.
Mainly, I sensed a great deal of negativity and entropy in the music. There's a disintegration.
However, in the midst of the undeniable S undertones prevalent in Prince's music, and even within his persona, we also discover another facet that has historically clashed with S religion. Indeed, the complex interplay between S and religion has been a source of tension, with the Catholic Church, for instance, long considering the topic a taboo.
Yeah, sex not bad. I'm talking about sexuality is very spiritual in nature. And that's a God-given gift, too.
Nevertheless, despite exuding undeniable Prince held an unwavering faith in God. "I like to believe my inspiration comes from God. I've always known God is my creator. Without him, nothing works," he once affirmed. Prince's faith may have been deeply rooted in his early life, which was marked by a miraculous event. Born epileptic, he miraculously experienced a cure. As a child, Prince reportedly confided in his mother, suggesting that an angel had foretold his healing. However, Prince himself has occasionally expressed uncertainty about recalling this specific conversation with his mother.
My mother told me one day I walked into her and said, "Mom, I'm not going to be sick anymore." And she said, "Why?" And I said, "Because an angel told me so."
Prince was initially raised as a Seventh-day Adventist, but later in life, he embraced the faith of Jehovah's Witnesses. Both of these religions are sometimes considered to be on the fringes of mainstream Christianity. Nevertheless, Prince's unwavering belief in God remains undeniable, particularly when we delve into the themes present in his music. One track that vividly reflects Prince's faith in Christ is the opener of 1984's Purple Rain. It begins with the sermon-like line, "Dearly beloved, we are gathered here today to get through this thing called life," accompanied by a funeral procession-esque organ solo. This demonstrates Prince's ability to intertwine his spiritual beliefs with his musical expressions. In 1997, Prince disclosed that the track served as a metaphor symbolizing the conflict between Christ and Satan. However, it was presented as a metaphor rather than a direct and overt reference to his faith. This approach was likely due to the reluctance of radio stations to promote songs with explicit religious themes. As I wrote it, "Let's Go Crazy" was about God and the de-elevation of sin, Prince said. But the problem was that religion as a subject is taboo in pop music. People think that the records they release have got to be hip, but what I need to do is to tell the truth. I had to change those words up, but the elevator was Satan. I had to change the words up because you couldn't say God on the radio. And Let's Go Crazy was God to me. It was stay happy, stay focused, and you can beat the elevator. Are we gonna let the elevator bring us down? Oh no, let's go. Prince skillfully maneuvered through radio censorship limitations to impart his insightful, pastor-esque wisdom about the profound impact of embracing God in our lives. Remarkably, the song experienced a resurgence on the Billboard Hot 100 charts after Prince's untimely demise in 2016.
Like that is kind of like a black hole, and it's hard to audit, it's hard to get accounting, and it's not that it's just about the money.
Despite our initial perceptions of Prince conflicting with religious themes due to the overt sensuality in his music, it becomes clear that Prince found comfort in his faith, providing a source of solace that somewhat alleviates the sorrow surrounding his untimely departure. In the song Let's Go Crazy, the resurrected Prince asserts, "I'm here to tell you there's something else. The afterworld, a world of never-ending happiness. You can always see the sun, day or night." Undeniably, Prince's impact resonated deeply with many, including Eddie Murphy, who openly acknowledged this profound connection. In a candid interview, Eddie Murphy shared a whimsical anecdote about Prince, describing how the music legend had skates that illuminated as he glided, reminiscent of light-up sneakers. Murphy expressed the magical nature of the moment, stating, "You know how some sneakers, when you walk, they would light up? He had skates that when he skated, they would light up." Fallon reacted with surprise, commenting, "That's bizarre," to which Murphy responded, "It was surreal." On the other hand, Prince faced criticism from some quarters for alleged references to Satan in his songs. Sinéad O'Connor claimed that Prince was involved in devil business and recounted an incident from 1991 when she visited his residence after the success of her cover of his song, "Nothing Compares to You." In her memoir, Rememberings, O'Connor described an unsettling moment at Prince's Hollywood property, where she perceived his irises vanishing, sparking her fear that he might be deeply involved in the occult.
Yeah, I think I was very young. I wasn't ready for the type of success, in inverted commas, that happened. Do you know what I mean? I wasn't really setting out to be a pop star.
Expanding on the incident in an interview with The Times, Sinéad O'Connor emphasized the veracity of her claims, stating, "That is as true as God. I believe he was involved in devil business because an old girlfriend of his told me he had the power to make Essie move around the room. He got me up there to see. Could this be one of mine? I guess he didn't bank on the Irish and me telling him to go F himself." In her memoir, Rememberings, O'Connor, who became ordained as a priest in the 1990s and practices as a Muslim, also recounted a troubling encounter with Prince. She asserted that he struck her with an object concealed within a pillowcase during a pillow fight and described instances of alleged stalking, with Prince purportedly chasing her down the road after escaping from what she described as a macabre mansion.
But it's very hopeful, isn't it? He obviously intends to get her back.
Yes.
He's getting her back because she's coming home after.
The Irish singer has stated that there were multiple factors contributing to Prince's violent behavior during their meeting. Prince, who passed away in 2016 at the age of 57, is no longer able to comment on these allegations. Sinéad explained, "Firstly, Prince didn't like people covering his songs. Secondly, he had all these female protégés and he was annoyed that I wasn't one of them." Moreover, Sinéad has also characterized Prince as a violent A of women and alleged that he terrorized and physically A her during her visit to his Hollywood mansion in the 1990s. These claims were also featured in her memoir, which was previewed in a New York Times profile, a publication that occurred 4 years after Prince's unfortunate death from a drug overdose. She writes that Prince summoned her to his macabre Hollywood mansion, chastised her for swearing in interviews, harangued his butler to serve her soup, though she repeatedly refused it, and sweetly suggested a pillow fight, only to thump her with something hard he'd slipped into his pillowcase, The Times reported. When she escaped on foot in the middle of the night, she writes, "He stalked her with his car, leapt out, and chased her around the highway." In her own words, Sinéad wrote, "You've got to be crazy to be a musician. But there's a difference between being crazy and being a violent A of women." However, the massive public was always on Prince's side, and they never seemed to be lingered by Sinéad's narrative. One of his fans wrote, "The industry has been killing off artists for a long time now. MJ, Prince, Whitney, etc. When you no longer want to play by their rules, this is your end, or they will destroy you in front of millions. This industry is very evil." Another fan wrote, "It's heartbreaking to think of such an icon being in a position of helplessness knowing they were coming for him, and everyone around him was wicked. Soon as he got ownership BCK from his music, they killed him." One other fan penned his emotions as, "Before he died, I watched him in an interview where he said that G. Washington was not the first US president, that there was 8 other presidents before him, and like he said, I don't know about you, but I get a bit pissed off when people lie to me. Yeah, I get pissed too." The sudden and unexpected death of Prince left the public in a state of shock, and numerous unanswered questions lingered. Official conspiracy theories, including TMZ's suggestion of a drug overdose and the National Enquirer's mention of AIDS, circulated in the aftermath. Some individuals pointed out intriguing connections, such as the supposed prediction of Prince's death in an episode of The Simpsons. The enigma surrounding Prince's passing contributed to a web of theories and conjectures as fans and the media grappled with the loss of the renowned artist.
Playing second fiddle to Michael Jackson,
and perhaps that had something to do with the fact that the episode never got made.
In the 19th installment of The Simpsons' annual Treehouse of Horror series, there is a segment where Homer Simpson is depicted eliminating various celebrities, including Prince. In this portrayal, Homer uses a guitar with a shape reminiscent of Prince's distinctive instrument to supposedly cause the singer's demise. Some people have speculated about whether this animated comedy series might have had foreknowledge of Prince's eventual death, which occurred 8 years later. However, fans also think that he is himself responsible for his own death, as one person commented, "I grew up a Prince fan. I stopped listening to him years before he died. It was so many things I found out that I would never praise an entertainer again in my life. All of them are paid to entertain and keep you blinded from the truth. Hollywood is evil wood, the devil's playground. He was a big player in his own death." Moreover, there is an interesting story about Prince holding back an album due to a negative ecstasy trip. His Black album was initially set to be released in 1987, but just before its release, he withdrew the album. Insiders claim that Prince believed releasing the album would have an evil influence, and he reportedly expressed that he couldn't subject the world to it. The album was eventually released in 1994.
All the girls and all the boys, get close. Have no fear.
Prince's enigmatic nature and statements have led some people to believe that he may have predicted his own death. His brief and somewhat awkward interaction with social media included his last Instagram post just before his passing. This post featured a picture of him along with the since-deleted message, "Just when you thought you were safe." Given Prince's tendency for mysterious pronouncements, some more conspiracy-minded individuals on the internet have interpreted this message to suggest that he might have had a premonition or sense that he was in some form of danger. However, such interpretations are speculative and not based on concrete evidence. One of his friend Maya Washington said, "Before you meet him, you have the idea of him being this thing. He's untouchable, he's a unicorn, he's a metaplanet." So the first thing I was taken aback by, and a lot of people are taken aback by, is his size. Because I'm short, I'm 5'3", and he's shorter than me. But that aside, he is a unicorn. He's somehow floating when he's talking. There are claims from certain individuals that Prince may have foreseen his own death during his last public appearance at a party in Paisley Park, which occurred shortly after he received treatment for an overdose and just days before his demise. Reportedly, Prince said to those present, "Wait a few days before you waste any prayers." This statement has sparked speculation and various interpretations, suggesting that he might have had a premonition or an eerie sense of his imminent passing. However, it's crucial to emphasize that these interpretations are rooted in the circumstances surrounding his final days and are speculative in nature.
He left everything on the stage. He gave us his all. He did around 4 encores.
And he was dead after some time. Music legend Prince died after taking what he thought was Vicodin, but was actually a counterfeit painkiller that was laced with fentanyl, a Minnesota prosecutor said in announcing that he would not be filing criminal charges in Prince's death. In all likelihood, Prince had no idea he was taking a counterfeit pill that could kill him, Carver County Attorney Mark Metz said at a news conference in Chaska. Others around Prince also likely did not know that the pills were counterfeit containing fentanyl. Despite an intensive investigation, there is no reliable evidence showing how Prince obtained the counterfeit Vicodin laced with fentanyl or who was involved in procuring those pills, Metz said. This has compounded the shock and sorrow of his departure for his fans, still wondering why he died of an opioid overdose and why his multi-million-dollar estate is still such a mess. Contradictions and seeming inconsistencies are part and parcel of Prince's whole story. Nothing is simple or self-evident, says Alex Hahn, a Boston lawyer, Prince fan, and co-author of The Rise of Prince, 1958 to 1988. With someone like Elvis Presley or Kurt Cobain or Amy Winehouse, there is an unambiguous picture of physical or psychological deterioration as part of substance abuse. Prince died of an overdose, but he doesn't have these other signs in common with them. Moreover, Frank Wheaton, a lawyer who, up until last month, represented one of Prince's siblings and presumed heirs, one of an army of lawyers involved in the case, says, "There's a lot of mystery, a lot of information behind the curtain. It seems evident that Prince did not dwell much on the intricacies of the material world or what would unfold after his transcendence. Perhaps he harbored a profound assurance that his legacy was securely cemented through his life's achievements, and he was at peace, entrusting the course of events to fate as he ventured into the great unknown." That's it for today. See you in the next video. Until then, goodbye.